been quite a long time. I'm so sorry, guys.
Titties.
Yeah, welcome back to more Dark Souls 3. I'm here with Tim, but he's not with me in the game, but he's with me on chat. Yeah!
Ah.
So, I'm so sorry for the delay. I really am. So, to bring you up to speed of what happened, the file I had our run on crashed, like didn't crash it, corrupted. And I just didn't want to do all the work to get back here, and we're back where we were, exact spot, lower level, but that's okay. However, there's not going to be any progress made in this episode. In fact, a long time ago, in one of the early episodes, I think it was like a 7 or 8, I said we were going to go over the rest of the boss weapons. We never did that. We kind of forgot and kind of did about 7 or 8 episodes at a time and tired ourselves out, and it was always at like 2 to 4 in the morning, and it was bad. So, today we're going to go do that. Because it's been forever, and yeah, I've been doing a lot. I do still play this game occasionally, but because Remastered is coming out roughly in 2.5 weeks, I'm going to try and push these episodes as fast as I can so I can get to that, because we may be doing that one. Hintity hint hint. If I remember correctly, the last thing we went off on was the Abyss Watcher sword and the Wolf Knight, correct? Tim?
Do what now?
I said the last weapons we went over was like the Farron and the Abyss Watcher, right? Or the Farron and the Wolf Knight?
I have no recollection. I don't remember.
It's been far too long. Well,
Right?
we'll start off
Way
from
too
there. And we'll kick things off pretty simple. We'll start off with the Great
Last
Sword
episode on Dragon Ball Z. No.
We'll start off with the Great Sword of Judgment. A very interesting weapon. It's not necessarily what I would call insanely powerful. It is a strength, intelligence build weapon itself. But it doesn't have the scaling to back it up very good. Its intelligence stats get to around A at max rank, and its strength and dex stay at C. I don't know. It's a weapon that I like personally, because on my mage build I run it, and it does quite a bit of damage as long as you land its weapon art. But that's it. That's all I can say about the weapon. If you want it, I'm not going to stop you. We're not going to stop you. There's no point. But this weapon's very versatile, I would say. We'll have Tim go over the next weapon. The Dancer's Enchanted Swords. This will be a fun one.
The which one?
Dancer Swords.
Those damn things?
Yep.
Where do I start? They absolutely suck for PvE. They are not good for PvE at all. They don't do damage worth crap. They're balance build daggers because they're both fire and dark. And fire scales off of both intelligence and faith, which is what also dark does. So if you aren't a balance build, good luck trying to do any kind of damage. The combo multiplier for PvP is what you are harshly reliable on, but the problem is when you attack, it leaves you wide open for a parry and a backstab because they're slow, because it acts like you're dancing. The plus version, not really all that great. There really isn't much of a significant difference other than maybe 10 or 20 points worth of damage. Other than that, it's not a weapon I would highly recommend for anybody to really use. It is cool as a aesthetic, but combat-wise, no bueno.
The next one, the Profane Greatsword. You have more experience with this than I do. I don't use this weapon. So go for it. I'll let you do this one.
Alright. The Profane Greatsword, the most stupidly BS powerful sword if you have the right stats. If you have double the requirement for the strength, dex, and I believe it required intelligence.
Nope, just strength and dex.
Yeah. So if you had the max amount, or not max amount, but double the stats for this weapon, and you did the uppercut ability, it could potentially one-shot people. Or if you had the Leo ring on equipped with it, which the Leo ring, when someone's swinging at you at the same time that you swing and connect with them, it does double damage. So instead of your traditional 1200 damage that it could possibly do, it doubles it to 2400. If they don't have a ridiculous amount of critical resistance, which is like hyper armor, say Havel armor or Smo armor. The L2 R2 is an uppercut that flings them in the air, knocking them on the ground, face planting, leaving them wide open for you to hold R2 again to stab forward, and if they roll forward towards you and you time it right, you can clip them instantaneously, finishing them off if they don't have Tears of Denial on, or if you broke their tears already. Unfortunately, the L2 R1 does absolutely nothing. It's literally just a regular R1 attack. It's just something to kind of fake them out and freak them out. When you do the L2 R2, it does, I believe, set the sword on fire while it's swinging, but afterwards it doesn't stay on fire.
It does stay on fire for quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's right, it does. It's been a little while since I've used it. It does a ridiculous amount of damage in PvE and a absurd amount of damage in PvP if you can land the attacks through the crappy hitboxes. So other than that, it's just a all-around about really good greatsword.
We'll move on with the Demon's Great Axe. Generally, I don't recommend running any balance build weapons for people who don't run balance build. If people are just primarily strength users, this is not a weapon for you. The Demon's Great Axe is a legendary Great Axe that, of all things, is a lie with its stats. So its starting stat says it's 157 physical with 88 fire. That is a lie. This weapon highly based off of fire damage, so if your intelligence and faith are not up to par to where your strength is, you will not do the damage that it proceeds to tell you. However, the reason why I would recommend this weapon, its weapon art Demonic Fire is broken as hell. If you manage to land this on almost any enemy with the good amount of stats that it requires, you can potentially 1 to 2 shot your target, PvP or PvE. Aside from that, the only reason it's not very good is it's a Great Axe. And if you guys don't really know about this, Great Axes generally do not swing fast. They are really slow weapons. So it takes a lot of timing to use, but all in all, it's a good weapon. So many times I have to go over this thing to people. So many times. Okay. Let's do this. Dragon Slayer Great Axe. Literally the same thing I just told you about the Demon's Great Axe. The only difference is its lightning damage has, again, a lie. Faith does not have to do with anything on this weapon. Period. That descaling in faith is a total lie. It all centers around your strength. If your strength is above 40, say 50, that lightning is just added to your physical. It doesn't move because of your faith stat. And its weapon art is literally the same thing, but instead of fire, it's lightning. It's a slow weapon, yada yada yada. There's no real difference. Moving onward with Tim, we have Yorm's Great Machete.
I hate that thing.
3 Great Axes in a row.
Before they nerfed that stupid thing, that thing was brutally broken. You would literally hold it with 2 hands, press L2 to do your war cry, and then hold R2, dashing forward like a freaking maniac, clipping anything that even came remotely close within 7 pixels of your character, smacking the players into the ground, and then pressing R2 again to clip them once more with a combo attack that did a stupid ass absurd amount of damage. it would, let me think. It would do anywhere between, if you had the right amount of strength and you doubled it, like all the other weapons is, because it soft caps after the double stat. It would one-shot people with 2200 HP through Havel armor, with the Ring of Steel protection plus on. So needless to say, the thing was very broken, and it had no limits before they patched it. They patched it now, and you're lucky if you can even do more damage than the Dragon Slayer Great Axe with a charged R2 attack. Unfortunately, the game developers beat it hard with the nerf stick. I can't say I'd recommend it for PvE or PvP anymore, because it really is not all that great anymore, even with backstabs or parries with a Hornet Ring.
I can't remember if we went over this one, but put it simply, Old King's Great Hammer, another balance hammer that's not very good. Its weapon art isn't even that great. Wouldn't recommend it, period. It's overall just a bad weapon.
It's a piece of garbage.
However,
there's a bottle cap. That must be my grandmother.
If you do not choose to pick the Demon's Great Axe, its direct counterpart, the Demon Fists, these are a weapon worth grabbing. Though, that being said, it again is another demon chaos weapon, so your faith and intelligence have to be exactly the same or for this to do a lot of damage. However, this is without a doubt the strongest fist weapon in the game, and if you primarily just like using Cestus or Claws or the Mannequin Claws or any fist weapon you get your hand on, these are the ones I'd recommend. Solely for Flame Whirlwind. This ability will do constant damage and knock your opponent in the air, allowing for some pretty easy hits. But other than that, it can do insane damage. In fact, the 2017 Dark Souls PvP tournament was won by a dude using the Demon Fists. They are that strong if you run balance. So just keep that in mind. And now for something disappointing, Lothric's Holy Sword.
The Lothric Holy Sword.
Alright, let me get this one out of the way. If you are a Strength Faith build, this is your weapon. This is the best legendary weapon you are going to get for a Strength Faith build. The reason why I had to sigh, I'll put it simply. At +5, Strength and Dex both stay at D rank, and its Faith rank goes up to D. It does not go any higher. They stay the same, and it's not a very powerful weapon. The only reason this weapon is primarily used in any form of combat is in PvP to catch your opponents from rolling away using Sacred Light. However, that's useless here. For the sole factor of, in order for that Sacred Light to even do a lot of damage that you'd want it, your faith has to be quadruple the times the recommended amount is. So put it in perspective, 14 times 4. Figure out that number in your head, that's the recommended faith stat you want to do damage with this weapon. If not, I recommend the Sun Sword. I do not tell you to run this weapon at all. It's not very good. But then there's the counterpart that Tim can talk about, and that is the Lorien Greatsword. Tim. The awkward silence is real.
I hit the button thinking that I unmuted it because I was doing something. But no, what I said was the Flaming Greatsword of Bullshittery and Doom. Because that thing hits like a fucking truck, no matter what stats you have. You can, as long as you have 50 faith, intellect, stamina, or not stamina, sorry, intellect, faith, strength, and dex, it hits stupid hard. It is probably the most powerful greatsword right now, because of its fire ability, and most people don't even run fire resistance half the time, and if they do, it's usually a mixture between fire and dark because of pyromancy spammers. But anyways, that said, this sword is kind of like the Profane Greatsword, but instead of stabbing forward, it does a heavy slash to the side. And it does a hell of a lot more damage.
It's like
it does
the
an
daddy
uppercut.
version.
Yeah, it does an uppercut like the Profane Greatsword, but when it catches on fire, it boosts its damage by 200 points. And it just literally it rickrolls people's faces. You can destroy people's faces that are wearing full Havel armor. You can murder casters in one hit, sometimes through their Tears Denial, especially if the sword connects and then the fire hits him after, because it's a 2-hit combo. Let me think. I mean, other than that, that's all there's really much to say about it, other than the whole thing is just stupid overpowered.
The one difference between this weapon and the Pontiff Greatsword, however, the Profane Greatsword, the only difference is you do not need to complete the full weapon art to apply the fire buff to your weapon. All you need to do is
Just
click
tap
the
L2.
weapon art button.
Yeah.
L2, left trigger, or whatever the hell it is on PC, I don't even know.
No one cares about PC.
But yeah, it is that easy to get a buff. This is one of the highest recommended weapons, I would say, for PvE and PvP. PvE especially if you're a strength build, because you cannot miss out on this weapon.
It murders.
And last, for the weapon of the day, we have the Firelink Greatsword. What a letdown. Alright. Let's put
such
this...
a fucking joke.
Let's put this simply. Ever since Dark Souls 1, people have wanted to use a bonfire sword as a weapon. Dark Souls 3 delivered, and disappointed. So, the problem with this weapon is, generally, you wouldn't expect a weapon that, you know, has a high physical and a pretty okay fire to do good damage, right? Wrong. The fire does not scale. In fact, at +5, the fire only goes up by 6 points. Needless I say anything else. Its weapon art buffs it with fire. And what people don't realize is if the Firelink Greatsword is buffed, its entire physical damage is 0. You have to rely on the 96 damage that the fire has, with no scaling, no increasement whatsoever, and at max stats of 99, its fire only goes up to 120.
Yeah, and you can't even shift fucking weapon stances like the boss, goddammit.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, 20 strength, 10 dex, 10 faith, 10 intelligence. A weapon no balanced runner should ever use, and if you're specifically built to run the Firelink, you better hope you're good with it. This weapon does poor damage. In fact, if I am not mistaken,
PvP.
if I am not mistaken, in a rating, the dancers can do more damage than the Firelink. That says a lot.
Yeah, which is total bullshit.
So,
because the daggers you get from a mid base or early base, depending on what you chose to do, boss level.
it's not good. We could do the bow.
Literally, the stupid Firelink sword compared to the dancer daggers is like trying to beat somebody with a stick.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. A lot of the boss weapons aren't very good until basically near the end. So,
Yeah, it really sucks. There isn't going to be much anything negative for the next Dark Souls.
yeah. But this is where I'm going to end the episode off. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It took us forever to get back. I'm sorry, but we'll finish this up really quick. So thanks, guys. I'll point down for you. See you later.